of Human Resources with Red Stag Fulfillment and one of the winners of this year's Women in Supply Chain Award presented by Supply and Demand Chain Executive Jeanie. First off, congratulations on this win and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself, your company, and kind of how you got to this point in your career?
Sure. I work for Red Stag Fulfillment. We're an e-commerce order fulfillment company, really working to partner with e-commerce, vendors, and really trying to help them be successful in getting their products to their clients. Obviously been a big challenge with a lot of the supply chain issues we've seen over the last couple of years. So my specific role is the HR director for the company. Our people are our business. We're not selling a product ourselves, we're selling a service. And so that becomes vitally important when people are at the core of that, and just really making sure that we're doing everything that we need to be doing to help people really just love what they're doing and feel connected to the work that they're doing, and to make sure that we're doing the right things as an employer for our employees so they can take good care of our customers.
So what attributes do you think a successful supply chain leader should have?
I think flexibility would probably be one of the biggest things that I would say. This is a really interesting industry because there is so much input happening, and so much can change very quickly. And so being able to adjust and be agile becomes vitally important, to not get frustrated by it, but to see it as an opportunity for something different. The other thing I would say is really being able to see the big picture and not just look at a problem like through your lens, but really being able to kind of see all the different things. Otherwise, you may put a solution in place that kind of solves your problem right now, but you're just going to miss kind of the true why of what's going on, and miss some of the other pieces of that solution that need to happen. So I would say, really that big picture thinking, and then of course, being agile comes to the top of the list, and I think was highlighted. I think successful leaders this last year were able to be agile. So
it's no secret that the supply chain industry has encountered a lot of challenges over the last 18 months. And being somebody in human resources, I'm sure you have a whole additional set of challenges. So kind of what has your company faced, during all of this, and how have you in your role worked to overcome those challenges?
Yeah. So we were, growing steadily year over year, doubling year over year, which I think is pretty manageable for a while in a business. But then you of course, once you get to, okay, now you have 200 employees. Okay, so now we're going to double and it's 400. Those numbers start to get can get really big really fast. I think one of the biggest challenges for me has been just kind of making sure we've got the stuff in place to manage the growth that happens so rapidly, and then really being able to be creative with our solutions for our employees, because our employees were encountering the same thing that all of us were dealing with. Our schools were shut down, our daycares were shut down, our kids got quarantined, we got quarantined. But for our employees, that became even more challenging when we're deemed essential and we're trying to also get products out. It just became a very different environment. It wasn't one where we could just send everybody home and say, okay, everybody work from home. So definitely, I think keeping on top of what was going on locally in each of our locations, and then being understanding that the way that COVID impacted people was the same but also different, and so there wasn't a one size fits all approach that we could take with our employees. We really had to understand the challenges, multitude of challenges, and work with our employees who needed some flexibility during this time. So
the supply chain industry has traditionally been a male-dominated industry. We are seeing that evolve over time, which is a great thing, thanks to women role models like you. So, from where you sit, kind of what is it like being this woman in a traditionally male dominated industry, and kind of what are you doing to recruit and kind of get more women on board?
Yeah, I think for me, I've always been in industries that were male dominated. So I think it's not been new for me, like kind of moving into supply chain with Red Stag. I would say one of the biggest things I think is just that sometimes there isn't the awareness of the challenges on the other side of the table. So for me, it's been really exciting being able to be a different voice at the table. And I think that was very helpful for all of us, being able to understand, my male executives' challenges through COVID, but also for them to understand, mine. I actually had a baby 5 days before everything shut down. So it became even more interesting in the process. And so, again, I think I would say like one of the really cool things has been able to see the way that our team as a whole has evolved through this process, and through just having diverse opinions at the table. You just hear things that maybe you wouldn't have thought about before. And thankfully, when I got here, there was a big commitment to making some changes within Red Stag and really trying to make sure that we had women in our leadership roles, and they were really committed to doing that, even like within our warehouse leadership. So now we've got we've got leads, we've got group leads, we've got department managers that are all women, not all women, but we've got them represented like throughout our departments. And it has, again, like proven to just be a really beneficial thing. And everybody has seen that and even having those discussions. So for me, I think it's just having an awareness of kind of where we stand and what we're missing out on when we don't have that, and being willing to have those conversations too. So
what advice do you have for those starting out in our industry, and maybe what would you tell your younger self?
Yeah, I would say, this is a great industry. Obviously it's growing. And for those that maybe hadn't thought about this industry before, it has obviously become highlighted, and there's a lot of jobs opening up in this industry. So I think there's more awareness around it, and I would say for other women, just really like owning what you know, and not being intimidated by that, but know that you also bring a different perspective to the table, and there isn't anything wrong with that. That's actually a really great thing. And being able to step into businesses that recognize that as well. I think I have just seen a lot of women in supply chain, especially over the last year. I've seen a lot more coming in, and that's exciting as well. So yeah, I think where we're strong, I think we just have to be strong in those areas.
So how does it feel to be named one of Supply and Demand Chain Executives' top women in supply chain?
I wasn't sure what it was at first. I was like, okay, and then when I saw, I think the other women, and was like reading their profiles and stuff, I was just really blown away by how incredible some of the other people are and what they're accomplishing. And I was really inspired by that. And so for me, it's just a really big honor to be able to be named among those other women. And I think and even just kind of being on the HR side of things, for me, that's also a big honor, because I think it's such a vital piece. And, if HR is done well, then we become, a partner alongside our businesses, and we're able to really help them thrive when there's so many challenges. So for me, it's just definitely an honor, and really to be named alongside those other women. So,
well, thank you for everything that you've done, and thank you for everything that your company continues to do. We have Jeanie Kohl, Director of Human Resources with Red Stag Fulfillment, and one of the recipients of Supply and Demand Chain Executives Women in Supply Chain Award. To learn more about Jeanie, go to scexec.com.